Alright guys, how you doing? I know it's been a long time since I've posted a video up, but this time I wanted to do something that I know some of you might again find interesting or might be a little bit curious about. This is not really a review because I'm not a knife guy. I'm not a knife expert. I don't know everything about knives, but I do know enough to recognize a good knife. This is more of a show and tell, I guess, more of a overview of my recent purchases of my two Benchmade Mini Griptilians. I think it's the 5x6. I know a lot of you probably already have this knife. It's an awesome little knife, and due to all the recommendations and all the reviews that I've seen out there, I decided to give this knife a try. I did my research. I looked around for other possible knives that I might like in order to replace this. This is my Kershaw. I think it's a cane onion Leek. It's a great EDC knife, and I've been using it specifically for that. This has been my going around town, carrying everywhere knife, because it's very thin. You can see how thin it is. I mean, that's what I like about this knife the most. And it has a really fast opening, which is pretty sweet. But the problem that I ran into is that I don't think this is a very good outdoors knife. I don't find the handle very comfortable, or for long periods of time. I think it's alright if you're gonna use it every now and then, and it looks pretty sleek, and it disappears in your pocket because of how thin it is. But I don't think it is a great, camping knife. And I was starting to wonder if I needed serrations. I know a lot of people are not fans of serrations. Personally, I don't mind them as long as they are effective, and these ones are. I've cut things with this before, but I don't find them to be that great. Plus, I wanted this stronger steel. I think this is 440C. I'm not sure, but I know it's an okay steel for EDC. It's easy to sharpen and everything, but it's again, I don't think it's the best knife that I will want to use with with gloves and everything. Now, the reason I went with the Mini Griptilian is because I got a chance to check out both the Mini Griptilian and the regular Griptilian. I'm a local REI. REI carries both models of the knife, and as much as I feel the Griptilian feels great in the hand and it looks great, I think it's way too thick. Like, even the Griptilian, the Mini Griptilian, is fairly thick compared to the Leek. You can tell, the thickness of both knives. The Griptilian is thicker, and you can definitely feel this more in your pocket. Not as much as this, but is enough for me to keep it in mind. And then now the Griptilian, the larger model, is even thicker. It's even wider. It's even wider at the handles, which I found to be annoying. I didn't want to be carrying a big old knife with me. Plus, I never had the need for a blade larger than this one's, larger than, say, 3 inches. I've never had the need for that. And if I'm going to have a blade larger than that, I'll probably get a fixed blade, because anything above 3 inches, I feel I just will never use it. Now, the other reason why I have two is because I was in my local REI and I was looking at, I know they have the OD green with a black blade at REI, and I love the looks of it, but I still feel it's a little looks too tactical. A lot of people look at the knife and they think military knife, and I'm trying to avoid looking too military when I'm going out. It's bad enough that I already have a backpack covering molly. It's bad enough that I have a camouflage boonie, and it's bad enough that I have a military water bladder. A lot of former military personnel recognize my bladders and my backpacks as being military, so I don't want to seem like I'm pretending. Now, the reason I have two is because when I saw the Mini Griptilian, I think the Mil Perdue. No, it wasn't Mil Perdue. It was the I forget. It was another model that it was the OD green with a stone wash blade. and I love the looks of this. I think it looks pretty sweet, pretty great. It has a certain classiness to it that like I wanted, and it gave my knife a more unique look. Now it was my Mini Griptilian, but the problem was that I couldn't find any other greens with the stonewash, and if I was going to, the only way I could get one like that is if I order it directly from Benchmade, and I will have it custom made. I think they give you the option to custom made the Griptilians, whether the mini or the regular size. But they will have charged me full price, and they will have charged me shipping and tax. And by the time I was done, it was about $130 knife, which I think is way too much for what I'm willing to pay for a knife. Like I say, I'm not a knife guy. I'm not a collector. I don't like spending like $600 on a knife that I'm never gonna use. To me, knives are tools, and I want to beat on them. So what I did is I went to knifecenter.com and they actually happened to have this two on sale. I got originally this was the OD green with a black blade, cost me $80, and then there was the yellow with a stonewash blade, cost me $70. So what I decided to do is order them both, and then when they both arrived in the mail, I was going to switch the scales. Now, I don't recommend doing this because this will totally void your warranty from Benchmade. But if you know what you're doing, in which my case, I had to learn as I went along. But what I did as soon as I got them, I tried to switch the scales, but then I realized that it would actually be far easier just to switch the blades. And then I just did. I'm not used to liner locks. I really am not, because all the blades I've ever had to this point have been, liner locks to axis locks. I'm not used to axis locks. I'm used to more, liner locks. And what's called, this is just, and even this is not a liner lock. This is a frame lock, but it's close enough to a liner lock that I got no problem getting used to this knife. But then with the axis locks, sorry I can't do this in the camera, but I can close this with one hand now after practicing, and I can also open it with one hand. It's pretty smooth. With this one, I think I did a good job of putting them back together after I was done. But the problem that I ran into with the yellow one is that it ended up being a little too maybe tight. Like it won't open as fast. Maybe you probably can't tell on the camera, but this one won't open as smooth as this one. Now the other reason why I went with a stonewash instead of the black, I think it is black ionize. I'm not sure. It's not painted. I know that the clip, the pocket clip, is painted, but not the blade. But the reason I went with the stonewash was because this has more of a regular, hunting, camping, hiking look than a military look, and the stonewash is so much more smooth. I don't know if you can tell. You see how easy my finger runs on that? With this one, if I put pressure, I can actually get stuck. And it's a very little thing, but when you're preparing food, when you are spending a lot of time cutting food, cutting apples, cutting meat. Yes, once you spend a lot of time preparing your food and cutting, apples, meat, anything, with this is that you kind of want something more smooth that won't leave any residue on the blade. This is easier to clean than this. Again, I have nothing against this look. I actually really like the way this came up with a black finish on the blade and then on the pocket clip with a bright neon yellow. I actually think this is a great safety knife now. But yeah, my intention was to order these two because I did intend it originally to maybe have one custom made by Benchmade, because if you go to the website you can order any of the Griptilians with whatever scale color, whatever clip color, whatever pocket clip style, whatever screw color, and you can choose between different blades, different paint jobs on the blades, and you can choose different steels. I originally was gonna go with a S30V for this blade because I wanted a really good quality steel. But problem was, by the time I was done, it would have cost me more than buying these two right here. It would have cost me, I mean, this came up to like $150, I think, which I think is a great price for two great quality knives that feel great in your hand. Again, I have not been beating up on these knives yet. Again, this is not a review. I'm not criticizing the quality of these knives, although I think we can all agree that it's pretty good quality. It's more of an overview because I haven't been beating on this just yet. I haven't had the chance. I've been really busy. But yeah, this knife is small enough to fit in my hand. I have like just about, let me see, just about covering with my pinky if I have to. But most of the time I'm probably doing more delicate work with this knife. But it feels strong. I have no jimping on the axis of the blade. And when I put it back, it was a little more difficult than I expected. Well, I actually didn't know what to expect. I've never done anything like that with the axis locks. But I have no issues with it now. I mean, it's taking me a little while to get used to using the thumb stud because I'm not used to it. I got more used to the little flipper that comes with the canned onions. But like I said, I have no issue with it now. And if I have to, I can close it with one hand. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing else I can say about this knife. I'm still debating whether or not to put a lanyard. You can see the lanyard hole. I'm not a big lanyard guy, but I also don't really want to lose these knives. And and the other thing was, I was going to sell this one, because it's brand new. Maybe the warranty has been voided, but maybe somebody will want it. And it turns out that yes, somebody wanted it, and it was my wife. She really likes the looks of this knife. She says it looks like a bumblebee, which I'm cool with it. She needed a better knife. She was unwilling to buy a better knife than the really crappy one she has right now. But now this will be a great improvement. I mean, technically still my knife, but whenever we go out hiking, camping, or just on regular trips, she uses this knife now. And since I'm in California, this knife's still within the legal limits of carrying in California, so I can carry this in my pocket. But I most likely will only carry when I'm in the mountains, because I will rather carry this cheap $28 Kershaw knife. I know it retails for a little more than that, but I think I got it for about $28. Because if a cop for any reason were to pull me over and told me that I couldn't carry this and they were to confiscate it from me, I'll be much more okay with losing this knife than losing my special Mini Griptilian. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I could talk a little more about this knife, but I don't think it's necessary. Oh yeah, well, just one last thing. I was originally going to remove the paint on the pocket clip on this knife because I wanted to match the stonewash color, kind of like, I wanted to give this middle look. But I decided not to because the black actually is a lot more low profile on my pocket than the bright middle color that this one has. So I decided not to do that. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys just like taking a good look at the knife. Pretty little thing. Very, very well worth the price if you can find it for under the retail price. Because otherwise, $110 for this knife, I think is a little too much. But if you can get it for like I did for 80 or 70 bucks, I mean, I think it's a great price for a knife. Anyway, guys, talk to you later.